Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the boat. And today we just getting ready to float on. You know, I used to do a song back in the day by the Floaters.
Oh, well, you know what? That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Were they like a doo-wop kind of group?
Yeah, they were, kind of like the Temptations.
Yeah, you can.
OJs,
Yeah.
They all of them could sing. Brothers could sing.
The Platters.
Yeah, the floaters.
The Floaters.
Yeah.
If you had, no, I'm not going to put you on the spot. I was going to say if you had a.
Oh, go ahead.
If you had a doo-wop group, what would it be? Because back in the day, your dance crew was the remote controls.
Yeah.
But if you had to do something like the Temptations or the Drifters or the Platters or the Floats or the OJs.
Man, I don't know, man. That's a hard one right there to come up with a name. I was listening to Frankie Beverly talk about how they came up with the name Maze. Before they came up with the name Maze, they had like the craziest, stupidest name. They weren't going to be famous. Let's just say that.
What was the name?
I can't remember the name of it, but it wasn't going to be a name that you was going to be, thinking about many, many years later because they would have been out of work with that name. But Maze, just seems to make you feel a certain way when you hear Maze is coming to Houston. You want to get your tickets.
It sounds good, and the thing is, I always love hearing those stories of where you don't know, like. Where they had a different name other than the name right? Like J. Cole, the rapper, his initial name was Therapist, and then he was like, well, I can't be called Therapist because if anybody puts a space between the THE in Therapist, it might be the something else, right? He was afraid that he'd be called the Rapist instead of Therapist. So he was like, I need to change that name. That name doesn't fly. Or the best one ever is Back to the Future's original title, or what the studio wanted to call the movie, was Spaceman from Pluto. That's what they wanted to call Back to the Future.
That wouldn't have worked out either.
It wouldn't have been a good one. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been a good one.
It's like Pluto Nash.
Yeah. Well, that didn't work out for
that
that
either.
either.
No, it's a good name. I'm always talking about wrestlers and having a championship name.
Yeah,
it's essential when you're a professional wrestler. Just say for instance, Shawn Michaels.
Great.
Not the biggest guy in the world, but that's a championship name.
And his shoot name, Michael Hickenbottom, not as great.
That wouldn't have worked out.
Wouldn't have been good.
Another one, Booker T. The championship name anywhere in the world, baby. So I'm always thinking about stuff like that, no matter what it is. It's just like movies. Certain movies just talking about Pluto Nash. If a movie, if the title doesn't, jump out to me, I'm not gonna go see it.
Well, like, what was the other one I just read the other day? Oh, Pretty Woman, the movie Pretty Woman, Julia Roberts, Richard Gere, originally called 3000.
See what I'm saying?
No one would have watched 3000.
Pretty Woman.
I want to go see it. Who's in it? Julia Roberts? Sounds good.
She got the red dress on?
She's got the red dress on. She plays a what now? She's a what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm in.
I'm all in. Yeah. So I'm kind of the same way, man, when it comes to that.
Well, to be honest with you, to take it to wrestling too, and it's good that they went away from the name because I always thought, even as a kid watching it on television in the early 2000s, I thought TNA was like the worst name ever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Total nonstop action.
Well, but that's the thing is, that's not what you think about when you hear it. You hear
definitely not what you think about.
And that's the the bad taste in your mouth right off the bat. You know what I mean? You feel a certain way when you hear the name. Yeah, and whoever thought of that and thought it was a good idea, I'm just gonna say it was. I don't think that was a good idea.
I don't know who it was. I don't know who it was.
I'm not gonna jump out there and jump on anybody or anything.
I got it. It's gonna be total nonstop action. TNA. We'll have the fans chanting TNA.
No, but it's like when I first started my wrestling company. I say, man, PWA. It sounds like a great name. Pro Wrestling Alliance. And then after we was PWA for like 7 years, I realized there was about 10 other PWAs. Oh, wait a minute. This is not going to work. You know what I mean? We cannot take this to the next level. So that's when I started thinking about the reality of wrestling, the role. And I think, Actually, I think it clicks. I think it has a good ring to it. And people around the world right now, no matter where I go, people talking about reality of wrestling. And right now, wherever I go, people talking about Summer of Champions 7. That's why I got the shirt on right now. I got the Summer of Champions shirt on. Going down August 14th, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. We got a full house going to be in there, and the roof going to be about to blow off when the talent, the stars of the reality of wrestling make their entrance. I tell you, I'm so excited about Summer Champions 7. 7 years in a row that we've had the opportunity and the privilege to be able to bring this Texas City, Texas, as well as the world now, because we will be streaming live on YouTube. So guys, don't miss out. Don't get shut out. August 14th. If you can't be there, tune in on the YouTube channel. If you don't have the YouTube channel, click the button right now and subscribe, because right now, I just looked earlier, we're over 500,000, but we 502,000. We're on our way to 600.
Let's get there.
Wait a minute. We're on our way to 1 million subscribers by the end of this year, which you guys help. So guys, tune in, come check it out. Summer Champions 7, August 14th. Like I said, if you can't be there, tune in. Also, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central, the Indies with Booker T. My special guest, Will Ospreay, international superstar. Right now working under the banner of New Japan Wrestling. So guys, check out that interview, because I think you'll find Will Ospreay very, very interesting young man, to say the least.
And you know what? I got the privilege to kind of sit behind the scenes and listen to the conversation. And I told you this afterward. He dropped some of the best knowledge I've heard in like any wrestling interview in a long time. You know what I mean? Especially if you're trying to come up in like as an independent wrestler and then break through to the next level, next company, get to the AEWs, the WWEs, the wherever else. He New Japan's. He definitely dropped some knowledge on you, so that'd be great. It's coming out tomorrow, 6 o'clock on this channel. Hit subscribe and the bell and all the stuff you're supposed to do, so you see the show as soon as it comes out. And it's the first Summer Champions show in 2 years. Right? Because last year, there was no Summer of Champions. There was no summer of anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no summer.
And if these idiots, if these people continue to choose not to get the vaccine, we're gonna be back in this mess again, right? I mean, I'm seeing mask mandates coming back to a lot of places. So please, guys, I mean, I got it, you got it, book. I was all right, you were all right. Just
hey man,
do it, please.
Do it, please. Do it now. And the thing is, and I say this sometimes, sarcastically, but today I'm being serious. I'd do it for you.
Yeah,
I would. We got a super chat.
We do. Let's hit it.
Chat.
Let me redo that one.
Super chat.
There we go. Gotta hit it right. This is from Joe Compton. CPT in the house with the $5.
Yeah, baby.
Army reservist here. Hey, first off, Joe, then salute to you, my man. Thank you for your service.
Good service.
Showing you some love while I'm at my civilian job. Random question. How would you personally book the Fiend's return? Of course, Bray Wyatt has been absent since his loss to Randy Orton at WrestleMania. What would you do, BT?
He would snap out of the fog and become Bray Wyatt again.
No more Fiend?
No more Fiend.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion. I'm sure they may have something totally different, but Bray Wyatt for me he was the today's Mick Foley, a guy that went out there and he made you think before you ever saw him in the ring. And then what Bray Wyatt did in the ring sometimes really didn't matter, because he had you so enthralled in the character of who Bray Wyatt really was, in the Wyatt family. That right there for me, it worked. Sister Abigail. I was waiting to see who the hell was Sister Abigail.
Everyone wanted to know.
I couldn't wait to actually find out at the end of the day who was Sister Abigail and what that was going to turn out to be. So that's just my opinion. I just think with the Fiend, it's just so hard to book a character like the Fiend on a weekly basis. And one thing I do know about the company, man, they want to have everybody, they want you working. They want you working, they don't want you sitting at home. And I just think the Bray Wyatt character was just so strong.
Yeah, I think the Fiend was cool while it was running, especially when he came in and did the first SummerSlam and the new entrance and everything like that. It was different. But the strongest thing that Bray Wyatt did was his promos as that original Bray Wyatt character. Where he had I can't even do it, but he had like that southern drawl rasp to him. And even when he does the Firefly Funhouse things, he doesn't have that accent. He doesn't draw me in as much as he used to when he was that Bray character. And when he's the Fiend, he doesn't talk at all. So I agree with you. Bring him back as the OG Bray Wyatt. And I think it'd be, it's been what, 3 years, something like that?
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So that's the way I would go with it. It's been a minute, like you say, since we saw Bray Wyatt, and I think that right there is a travesty in itself. But guys, we got a whole lot more for you. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Shoop! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. See, we got another super chat, Brad.
Okay, let me go ahead and do it. I'm pulling up right now. Here we go.
Super chat. Boom!
Stellar Justin Lopez with the $5. We appreciate you as always, Justin. Thoughts on Nick Gage facing Chris Jericho tonight? Also, Booker, would you trust/work with somebody who has the reputation of a Gage? Now, Nick Gage isn't somebody I'm wholly familiar with, but I know that he's a part of, I believe it's called GCW. He is the king of the death match. He and Zack Ryder just had a bloody affair, or Matt Cardona, excuse me. And I believe this is the guy that Arquette got in the ring with when he had that death match.
Yeah.
So first question first. Him facing Chris Jericho tonight. This is part of that storyline between him and MJF. He's got to go through all these little obstacles to get to MJF. This is the second one. What do you think?
Well, I tell you this, Nick Gage. I've never met this dude before in my life. But I tell you, if everybody in this business had the same thought process as a Nick Gage, the business will be in a much, much better place.
Explain that.
I say that because we're in the era of social media. Okay, we're in an era where everybody want to get their word out there. Everybody want to get their word out to their followers. They want to post something. This guy, Nick Gage, you pull up like photos of this guy, and you're never gonna see him smiling in any of them. He's got the same look on his face in every photo, in every picture that I've ever seen him in. It is not a picture of him being like happy. It's a picture of being like a guy that's getting ready to go into a death match each and every night. He's the real deal. As far as what he does and what he brings to the table. So I cannot disparage him at all. If the guys in the WWE, Impact Wrestling, AEW, they can learn a whole lot from this Nick Gage. And that's just my opinion on that.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, you know what? I didn't expect that because, again, I don't know enough about Nick Gage. I just know he's the the death match guy.
No, but the thing is, I don't know a whole lot about him either. But when I tell you, like I say, when your name get there before you do,
yeah,
it means a whole lot. When someone see you and they see something different about you in this business, it's uncanny. And for me, when I see Nick Gage, now, mind you, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've never watched any of his wrestling. I've never watched one match, but I know when you look at this dude, he ain't the guy you're gonna walk up on and say, "Hey, man, what about that? That wrestling stuff y'all do?" Because he might, David Schultz, he might hit you. He might do something to you. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
That's why I say if everybody, walked along that same line and took this thing as serious as this guy do, it would be a much better place.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, though. I know you haven't seen his wrestling. However, to answer the second part of the question, Booker, would you trust / work with someone who has the reputation of a Gage? So I guess, would you do a death match is my question. Don't even think about the Nick Gage side of it. Would you do a death match in general where there are light tubes and barbed wire and I think I already know the answer to this question, thumbtacks and things of that nature?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I'm not Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is, he's been pretty extreme throughout his career. He's, been willing
some stuff.
He's been willing to throw caution to the wind. And, I think he may have even done the thumbtack thing before. But for me, it's not my cup of tea or anything like that. But knowing it's going to be on AEW TV and we could, construct this thing a little bit differently than the way Nick Gage would normally construct it. I will feel comfortable with it. I think Gage having a shot on AEW TV, no matter what people may think, I think that's a big deal for him. I really do. I think.
Sure.
This guy's been, of course, the king of the independent world, the king of the death matches. But to make it to prime time, being one of those guys, unlike a New Jack. New Jack didn't make it to primetime TV. Yeah. So this guy's has put eyes on him, and obviously the brass in AEW think, man, we can get something out of this. This might work because there again, it's a lot of the indie world is huge. It's huge. So I think it could work.
Yeah, I think it could work, and it's fine for him being on TV. I'm excited to see it tonight. When I was younger, I think we talked about this before, I used to love the hardcore matches. I mean, that was my favorite thing. I wanted to see I want to see somebody get hit with something. And as I've gotten older, those are the ones that make me the most squeamish, right? Like I can't even watch it anymore. Yeah. I just don't know how you can go through and have the light tubes being smashed over your face. It reminds me of the movie in The Wrestler, when Mickey Rourke has the hardcore match with the guy, right? And they're going over it. He's like, staple me here, hit me like this with the thing. I'm just like, man, is there not an easier way to do this? Do we have to do it this way? And I know, like you said, there's always a place for everybody on the show. Yeah. I just wouldn't want to be the guy who is now expected by the fans to go out there and do something wild, stupid, and crazy, like a New Jack did back in his day, or a Nick Gage is doing now. I don't know. I just wouldn't want to be that guy in the locker room.
Well, I wouldn't either. You know what I mean? But there again, you got to understand, man, the guys that do that kind of stuff, they don't do it, I don't think, because they have to. I don't think they're doing it. Yeah. I don't think they're doing it for the money. Just say, for instance, Johnny Knoxville, Jackass, and those guys. Come on.
They're doing a fourth movie.
Those guys was so stupid and doing some of the craziest stuff. But sometimes when you're young, when you knowing that it's a legacy that you're going to leave that nobody else can do, it's an adrenaline rush. It's a high. So I totally understand where this guy's coming from.
Yeah, but then you get pigeonholed into that, right? I mean, Johnny Knoxville has had a good career as an actor, but everyone just wants to see him go out there and get hit by a bull, right? or get shot out of a rocket and crash and burn. I mean, I even remember Mick Foley talking one time in an interview, talking about how he always felt like he had to one-up himself from the time before and keep going. Next thing you know, he's getting chokeslammed through a cage to the floor or whatever, going through a flaming table with thumbtacks in his face, right? It's like, if you become that guy, it's hard, and people expect that out of you. You might have done it at first for yourself or to get noticed, but now it's all that people want to see. And man, I mean, that can really shorten your career.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that, but I can honestly say I'm not 100% sure, but I think if you ask Mick Foley if he would do it all over again, I think he would say yes.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure that he would, because it got him his notoriety.
I think he would say yes, and I don't think there again. That's the nature of the beast in the man. Mick Foley was jumping off of his house before he ever made a dime.
Yeah.
We got these extreme guys doing biking in the mountains, jumping off of stuff where they could easily die. And I can only imagine. I don't know how much money these guys are getting paid for that, but I can't imagine it being more than a basketball player or a football player or anything like that. I think those guys do it for the love of the game. So I don't think you could ever take that away from, the Mick Foleys and the Nick Gages of the world. I just think that's just part of their DNA.
I know. That's
just the way they are supposed to go out and do it. It wasn't meant for me to go out and do it that way. I'm glad of that, just because it hurts. It really does. It's not just say, for instance, Kurt Angle doing a moonsault off the cage, landing in the middle of the ring. You don't think that hurt?
I can't even imagine.
You don't think when he get up the next morning out of bed, if he can get up, he may have to roll out of bed, and then get to his knees to hold on to the wall, to get to the shower, to cut it on as hot as he can bear it. No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious, because I know I've done that before. I know I've rolled out of the bed before and held on to the wall just to get to the shower, because my body is in dire straits. I know that. So to watch these guys do this, it's not something that they're not going to wear with them later on. No doubt. But are they willing to put themselves through it every day? And I've watched it throughout my career, and nothing but high praise for those guys. Nothing but high praise. But for me, I go, wow, man. Like I say, the first time I met Sabu, coming out of the Tokyo Inn, in Tokyo, Japan, I say, man, do I really want to be in this business? Because this guy was cut up, he was mangled, bruised, battered, and torn. But that's the business, baby. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
And I know in the history of Psych, y'all being on the USA Network, there's been a lot of crossover with the WWE over the years. You had John Cena in some of the shows, Charlotte Flair, Stacy Keibler, Big Show, Miz. Talk to me kind of about working with the wrestlers. Were you always kind of pleasantly surprised by what they were able to bring to the show?
For me, I would say I actually was pleasantly surprised. Each one of the wrestlers that came, they came and knocked it out the park. They came, they were ready to play, they were a game, and they brought a great energy to the show. I remember when Big Show came on the show, I was really impressed with his acting chops. I was really blown away by it. So I guess it makes sense because they're in the ring and they're telling these stories all the time. But for myself, I was pleasantly surprised, and I welcomed each time that we had wrestlers join the show. But I have to admit, I mean, it really is Rode that would always lead that charge, because he was the one that he was deep into the whole WWE universe. So he would have to bring me up to speed about who was coming and where their story was before we would start filming.
Yeah, landing on USA allowed me to come out of the closet as an adult wrestling fan, because I just didn't think you were allowed to be that. Everyone's allowed to love it when they're kids, but I was still sneaking, replays of Monday Night Raw in the first couple seasons. And then when we had all the crossover, I just got to let my flag fly,
Sucker! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. We got a big fight going down this weekend. Bellator Saturday. You don't want to miss out on Pitbull versus AJ McKee. I plan on being there myself. Featherweight championship will be on the line. Pitbull is he's just that. He's a beast. He's a Pitbull. But AJ McKee is a kid who has grown up inside the Bellator cage, and now he's gonna get his shot at featherweight glory. And you know what? I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for McKee. Not that I don't like Pitbull or anything like that, but this kid he's special. He's extraordinary. And hopefully everything will turn out in victory on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this the other day. I think this is the biggest fight that Bellator has ever had. And you know what?
Well, next to Kimbo and Dada.
Well, Kimbo and Dada was the biggest spectacle.
That was a spectacle, man. I mean, and if this is anything like that.
It was so crazy that night. That night was so crazy because you were over there with Sharmell and who you sit next to, Matt Hughes? Matt Hughes?
Yeah.
And I was actually with your brother Stevie and MVP. That's where my little row was. And the three of us were watching the show, and you and Matt Hughes were watching the show. And whenever Dada came out, now, I'll be honest with you, I had never heard the name Dada 5000 prior to the buildup of the fight. I had seen his face. When I saw his face, I was like, oh, yeah, I've seen that guy somewhere. But I'd never heard his name before. And when his music hit, and he had this cool entrance with a sledgehammer, like breaking the glass, and then he walks out, the place erupted. I mean, Toyota Center jumped. And then Kimbo came out, and the pop was louder. And it wasn't even the main event. This was like the co-main, right? And when they walked out, it had an energy in it, and everybody was looking at each other like, "Are we about to see this? Is this about to happen?"
We just talking before the break there, and what I was talking about was names, right?
Yeah.
What that make you feel like when you hear the name Dada 5000? Somebody's about to get their ass whooped. You know what I'm saying?
And that night it was kind of him. Love you, Dada.
But no. But that's what you think about. Dada got a championship name, no matter what. You know what I mean? If Dada slip on a banana peel and become the heavyweight champion, he going down in history. You know what I mean? It's just by having the greatest name of heavyweight fighters. You know, Dada 5000. You go, what does the 5000 mean?
I don't know. You don't need to know.
You feel me?
You just want to wonder about it.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. You say it's got to mean something. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
But out of all the fights that you and I have been to together, and, you know, we'll be at the UFC show coming up as well. I'm sure that's going to be a great atmosphere. I don't think that there's been an atmosphere that topped that night because that fight had everything. Yeah. It literally had everything. It had a great build. It had two charismatic personas who weren't
great seats as well.
We both had great seats. You had a little bit better than me, but it's all right. I'm not gonna hate, but let's not let it happen again. Don't let it happen again. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. But then they started scrapping, and it wasn't the most pure technical battle between these two guys that we had ever seen.
It was a street fight.
And we were all thinking, or at least when I was talking to your brother and Envy, we were like, okay, it's gonna go a couple minutes in the first round. No one thought it was going the distance, right? Nobody thought that. And it became like a slow bicycle race at the end, right? Where both guys are just trying to get, or you see these triathletes on the Olympics where they're trying to get to that finish line, then they hit it and then they fall out. And then I remember there was comedy, there was tragedy. When Dada falls out, we didn't know what happened.
Dada,
that was frightening.
Dada died that night.
He did. Yeah, he legit died.
But he kicked out. But
crazy.
He was telling me about it, and he said, "Man, he literally died that night inside the cage." But I tell you, man, what an atmosphere, man! What an atmosphere for fighting. Only thing we needed was some cigars, man. We had everything else. We had all the ladies running around looking good, but we needed some cigars in the house, man. We need some cigars back. But we got a couple super chats, man. We do.
Let's get to B-Star first here.
Super chat.
B-Star with the $5. Hey, Booker, you're still looking jacked, baby. Are you officially retired, or is it possible for you to throw your gear back on for one more WWE match, or maybe even AEW?
You know what, man? Preparation is the only luck you're ever going to have.
Right.
I'm in the gym. Before I started doing the show, I was doing some back and biceps. After the show, I'm gonna go down and do some legs. Just staying in the gym, man. Just in case something pop, something jump off, and they say, "Book, we need you to come back for just one more match." And I say, "Yeah. How much we talking?" And then they go, "We talking 7 figures, that is." And I'm going, "I'll be in." It's one of those type of deals, man. I'm looking for the big bag too, man, like Punk. So yeah, man, I'm always available when I'm available, and that's my thing. But yeah, man, I try my best to stay in shape. Looking good is a premium for me. When I walk out the house, the beard has to be right, the shine, the gloss has to be right, the mustache has to be right, everything has to be right. So yeah, man, ain't getting old until I get old.
What is the mustache? What is it actually called? What is that style called? Because everyone who sees you calls it the curly cues. They're like, "Oh, look, you got the little curly cues." Is that what it's called?
I call it the zigzag.
The zigzag?
Yeah, that's what I call it, the zigzag. So you wouldn't know about this, but if you ever bought a pair of zigzag, a pack of zigzag papers, rolling papers, the front of it, it's a guy on the front
with the big stash.
He has a mustache just like mine, and he's got dreadlocks with a hat on, and MVP actually started calling me the zigzag man. So I like it. It kind of fits.
Okay. Well, there you go. So you're not ruling out a return to the ring at all, but
And then, you know what? Also, as far as being retired, I'm not 100% retired. I've never had a retirement match or anything like that. I don't even ever. That is.
There it is.
Is that it? Right? That's it, right?
The zigzag papers. Yes.
Exactly. They look kind of like me, right? The beard, add a little color.
It kind of looks like Jesus, to be honest with you. It could be you, I guess.
No, what I got to do is I got to make sure I separate my mustache from my beard so you can actually see it a whole lot more. I think that's what Zigzag Man got going on for him.
Yeah.
Anything. But what I was talking about as far as getting back out there in the ring, that's what I was talking about, right?
You're saying you're not fully retired.
Oh yeah. I'm not. Yeah, I don't ever want to say I'm fully retired until I can't walk.
That's it for you.
No, but I'm not looking to go and have a match or anything like that.
Right.
And when I go places, people go, "Man, you're a wrestler, right?" And I go, "Well, I used to be." So I'm kind of like in between. If the money is right and the situation is right, I'll get back in the ring. But the thing is, I don't have any itch to scratch or anything like that. It's not like I really want to get in the ring ever again. But I do want to be prepared to get in the ring just for me, if the occasion was to happen arise.
And it very well could. I don't know. I mean, we're going to talk about it here in a little bit, but WWE's going back to Saudi Arabia at the end of this year. And, there's always some green ducats, I hear out there. I hear.
You know what? I'm down. I'm down for going one trip. Yeah. Put me against Roman.
You and Roman are in Saudi?
In Roman and Saudi.
At the Crown Jewel?
Something like that. It's got to be something. He's a me and Roman, a me and Buff Bagwell. I know I can take him.
Hey, you know what? You know how great it would be for Booker T versus Buff Bagwell in a WWE ring 20 years later?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 20 years later, baby. Buff Bagwell versus Booker T.
Oh, we need to book that.
Yeah, give us a redo.
Let us try to save WCW one more time. Just give us an opportunity.
I see we got another super chat, man. I was wondering, should we take it now? Should we take it after we come back from the break?
I think we have 2 more actually now. Yeah, so we got to take these back when we come back from the break after that. So, but here's the thing, Book. Here's the thing. We also have to talk about what's going down in Saudi Arabia because details coming out about a tournament to crown royalty in Saudi Arabia. But
man, I heard all about that. Yeah.
Not the tournament that we're used to as pro wrestling fans over the last several years.
Especially in Saudi.
in Saudi. So there's a lot going on in the world of wrestling here that we'll talk about. So look, we can go to break now.
And of course, I see a lot of people in the chat. They want to talk about CM Punk, and they want to talk about Daniel Bryan. Punk and Bryan is trending all over the social media world right now. Everybody's got a comment about it's. I'm not sure if the ink is dry on CM Punk yet. It's still, seemed like a window still cracked open. They hadn't quite closed it. I don't know. I could be wrong. But right now it is a buzz around the wrestling world about CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. We got to talk about that too as well. Let's pick up the super chats as soon as we get back. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a momento.
This is Booker T World Gym Arena in Texas City, the home to the Reality of Wrestling Training Center. It's a 20,000 square foot facility with more than 50 full-time students and wrestlers from around the world. Inside the World Gym Arena sits a 9,000 square foot venue set up for weekly shows. From up top, 1-2 moonsault, where our students showcase their skills in front of a live audience.
What he's done here is awesome. He's created opportunity, and he's creating great talent, as you guys well know.
In the back, a full weight room.
6 up!
Complete with state-of-the-art equipment and personal trainers.
There you go. Two more.
A full staff and office personnel.
One more.
Running the day-to-day operation. We have interview sets for TV production, promo classes, quarterly combines. We evaluate progression and team building. Referees, commentators, ring announcers, and live television production. At the World Gym Arena, we don't just teach you how to become a professional wrestler, but an elite sports entertainer. This is Reality of Wrestling.
Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Y'all, I said we're going to take those super chats when we get back. Let's keep those super chats rolling, man. Keep these super chats
All right,
rolling.
let's go to the first super chat that we got.
I'm back with my African accent, too. I like talking with the African accent. Kind of as actually Nigerian. All these Nigerian people out there. Big ups, man. Yeah, okay, go ahead. I just want to say that.
Okay. Got it out of your system? You ready? Can we move forward? All right, no. Here we go. This is from Derek Fields with the $5
super chat. Boom!
Longtime fan of Booker T. I listen weekly. Well, thank you for that, Derek. Question for you, Book. At 34, am I too old to train for pro wrestling? My son and I attended a row show. Loved it.
I mean, you're not too old to train at 34. I know guys that have gotten into the business late and made it. One of my friends, the Boogeyman, another one of my friends, Diamond Dallas Page, went on to become 4-time heavyweight champion. There's plenty of guys that have gotten into the business late and made it to the next level. But I must say, the clock is ticking. Time is, that one thing that waits for no man. So you gotta be on top of it. You gotta know why you're coming into the gym. If you're just coming into the gym to be one of those guys, weekend warrior, and just say, man, I didn't want to look back when I was 50 and say, man, I wish I would have tried. It's worth it because you never know what's at the end of the rainbow. You gotta jump in feet first. So yeah, 34 is not too old.
Come on now, come on down to the World Gym Arena. You can train up right now, and we'll get to our next super chat right here.
Super chat. Boom. That's what I like.
From PLD with the $5. What's up, PLD? How much just to see you give a book into the boat? Oh, come on now.
I can do that for free. You know what I mean? We set it up at the next reality wrestling show. You know what I mean?
I feel like I should take a book in, like one time.
Take a bump.
I should take one.
Just take a bump. You've never taken a bump.
I haven't.
And that's one thing about reality wrestling.
Yeah.
If you haven't taken a bump, you're really not a part of the crew. So we'll work that out.
Look. If I will do it under the guise that it's you doing it, you giving me the book in.
I'm not doing anything.
You got to do it.
I don't trust. I'm gonna let Ryan Davison.
Ryan Davison. I'm not trusting Ryan Davison. He will bust.
Expert tutelage of Booker T. So those are good guys. Those are
they're great guys. No, they're the top ranked caliber performers. But if I'm taking one bump in my life, it's going to be from a 2-time Hall of Famer. It's not going to be from the Bear from Bel Air. I'll tell you that right now. Shout out to Ryan.
All right, man. That's cool, man. That's cool.
We'll film it. We'll tape it. We'll figure it out. Maybe if we reach a certain threshold of donations, right? Like if we can get like $100
because you know you're going straight to the emergency room.
Glad I have health care.
Broken boxes bone or something, you know. But heck yeah, man. But no, man. Duwell is fixated on CM Punk. Well, actually, the wrestling world on CM Punk making his return. Of course, Daniel Bryan, man. That's big news. That's big news.
Huge.
But CM Punk after a 7-year hiatus, and what's I just want to thank the listeners out there that I was looking at some stuff that people was talking about as far as CM Punk making his return, and the question was, if CM Punk come back, is he going to be ready to go after 7 years? Are we going to see the same CM Punk after 7 years? And I've been seeing a lot of people ask that same question. And I want to say, that's the question that I've been asking. And it hasn't been to like throw shade on CM Punk or anything like that. It's not for that reason. It's just because I know, there again, time off in any sport is your worst enemy. In this business, we say one thing. You got your bump card. You only got so many bumps. Once you fill it up, it's over. You know what I mean? You got to move on to something else. We didn't know if CM Punk had filled his bump card up or anything like that, but we do know he was going through a lot of, like small injuries and stuff like that before he left WWE. And then he went and got into a sport that was the training is just as tough as the fight, which is MMA. And then he trained for a couple of years. Now, the cartilage, the lactic acid buildup over, time, not, doing this, it's serious. So I just wonder if CM Punk is going to be able to come back and still be able to wow the people like that young kid did. Because that young kid now is, 42 years old?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not knocking his age or anything like that, because guess what?
Somewhere close.
I wish,
you wish you were 42.
Black folks, we wish.
That's right.
So, and I'm telling you right now, I wish I was 42 years old again. Because at 42, I must say, I felt like I was in the best shape of my life as far as wrestling skills, wrestling knowledge, timing wise, whatnot. I couldn't go out and fly as high as I could when I was, 25 or anything like that. But I was so much more well-rounded in my 40s. But also, I never took any breaks. I worked all the way up to my 40s, all the way till I was 45, and then took a step back. And I wonder myself if I would have even looked the same coming back after 7 years. I just don't know.
The thing is, if no one had done it before, I would be very skeptical, right? But we just had two guys who used to be a tag team, Edge and Christian. Both have 7+ year layoffs, 10 years for Edge, right? And Edge, I don't know, the time away from the ring looks like it actually did him good. Like he got to heal up those injuries, and he's come back and he's put in great performances at a high level, working 30 minutes, 45 minutes, doing a whole hour in the Rumble. So if CM Punk, I mean, I'm saying like it's possible for CM Punk to come back and be what he was when he left. Now, will he be? That's a question. Everybody's different. I can't say that Edge and Christian are the rule, the litmus test. They might be outliers, right? I don't know. Shawn Michaels came back after, what, 4.5 years, 5 years, something like that?
Like 5 years with a broken back.
With the back.
And of course, he was not the same worker that he was before he left the business. But
I think he was a better storyteller.
I think he was just as smart.
Yeah.
Or maybe even smarter because he had to utilize the skills that he didn't have.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. So perhaps CM Punk, perhaps he, with the time off and, watching and thinking about things, he won't have to do the same amount of physical labor that he had to do before. Just kind of think things through a little bit. And I think that he can make it happen. I think that he can. I know that he hasn't confirmed that he's coming back. Stephen Amell, who's his co-star in the upcoming show Heels, he was on Busted Open Radio, and he said he texted CM Punk and asked him if he was coming back, and CM Punk just texted him back a picture of his cat. So I don't know what that exactly means, but I think that CM Punk's still keeping things under wraps. I do know he posted the theme song to the 97-98 Bulls, right? You know that, the thing. He posted that on his Instagram. I don't know if that means he's going for his last dance or not. But it does seem like he's coming back, and I'll be excited to see what he can produce, because here's the only other thing is, with him being out as long as he has been, and people remembering him for the worker that he was, the expectations for CM Punk's first match back after 8 years almost, they're going to be astronomical. You know what I mean? Because fans have been booking his return in their heads for 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about CM Punk, I don't think he, so to speak, booked himself in a corner or anything like that. CM Punk has never been a guy that, just say for instance, just his finisher, go to sleep. I think that's something he can be able to pull off. I think it's something he can pull that off with any wrestler in AEW and make it look good. CM Punk wasn't a guy that was I guess he was a flyer, but he wasn't one of these guys that went out and did a whole lot of flips or anything like that. No. So we're not going to remember CM Punk from going out there doing anything like that. One thing CM Punk was before he left the game was he was a pretty good storyteller. Yeah, he knew how to go out and sell. He knew how to go out and make the fans feel a certain way, especially when he was getting the hell beat out of him. He did a really, really good job. So
go watch him and Brock at SummerSlam. They tore it up.
He put himself on the map by being able to go out and perform. And that right there, I must say, that's going to be the last thing to leave you as a professional wrestler. Your willingness and being able to go out and tell a great story. Just like I say, Shawn Michaels coming back after having a broken back, the match with him and The Undertaker in Houston was, it was
as good as you get.
It was Shakespeare. It was a story that could be told for many, many years. And you go, wow, man, you just marveling how well those two went out there and did from a storytelling perspective. So I believe Punk can do it too, but that is going to be the question from everyone until they see CM Punk in the middle of that square circle. Do he still got it? Because that's the question with a guy, been out of the ring for a while. You still got it. You still got it. I want to see if he still got it. And I want to see it soon. And we just might in AEW. Guys, stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
sucker!
Shoop. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Yeah, man, talking CM Punk making his return, but I think we got another super chat.
Positive vibes only with the $5. I think CM Punk will be fine. Christian and Edge back good. And I'm sure that he has the same drive that they possess. Yeah, you know, that's what we were talking about a second ago of Edge and Christian coming back after as long of a layoff as they had. Both retiring. And here's the thing. They both retired due to injury. Punk walked away due to business, right? I mean, a little bit different there as far as he didn't have the same toll maybe on the body. That was the reason that he retired. He retired over other reasons. But nevertheless, I think that he could do it. And I'm excited to see him come back, even if it's just for, I don't think it's going to be for a one-off, but even if it's just for a one-off. You know what I mean? Let's see CM Punk come back and see what he can do for AEW. I think it's good for the business, too. It's got people talking.
Well, I mean, to make a comeback for CM Punk, it would be huge, but to make it in Chicago, in his hometown, that's what I call business. That's a business move, and you know, Tony Khan and the Khan family, AEW, pull something off like that. That's big. That's big for the company. Any way you look at it, and my boy D. Bryan, that's icing on the cake. To have a guy again like Daniel Bryan on the roster, being able to work with anybody, you know, in the company. That's the type of guy Daniel Bryan is. You can work with your smallest guy or your biggest guy. That's how knowledgeable Daniel Bryan is as far as the business goes. We've seen it as far as how talented he is. So me personally, I'm looking forward to seeing, like I say, this war play out, man. I'm all about this war. And it's at the end of the day, it's going to be good. The bar will be at the highest level it's been in over 20 years, as far as this business goes. And what's really, really cool about it, the other side is looking at it like it's a war. You know, I like that.
Yeah, no, it's good for everybody. And here's another $5 right here.
Super chat.
Roland Curtis. What's up, Roland? Fun fact, the Chicago Bulls theme song was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's theme music first. CM Punk is Chicago made, but he's also a fan of Steamboat. Okay, well, thanks for letting me know that. I appreciate that. And then we have another one here.
Super chat.
Algernon the Absurd. Thoughts on Walter and Ilja Dragunov in NXT UK. Walter's a guy who is really bigged up by everybody. And I've only seen him work a few matches. I don't get to watch NXT UK that much. But when I watch him work, he looks like he's kicking somebody's ass from pillar to post.
That's another dude, man. He's the real deal. He looks like it's no nonsense when he's in the ring. It's all business. I can't remember who I saw him work in NXT here not too long ago. But it was a knockdown, drag out, like war. That guy, he's good. I love to see Walter here on the main roster, you know, Raw or SmackDown. That's how good this guy really is. And if we had, you know, 10 Walters, there again, the business would be in a much, much better place, because guys like that are somewhat throwbacks as far as what they go out in the ring and do, which is just beat someone to a pulp. Of course, Walter's a guy who can add moves in as far as his repertoire go, but he's more focused on going out there and making the fans feel like they're watching somebody get the hell beat out of them at the end of the night. And that, for me, smells of money. Every time I can get a guy like that on my roster, man. Like I say, Walter will be making his way to Raw or SmackDown sometime in the very, very near future. That's just my opinion. The other name that you threw out there, I'm not as familiar with Dragunov.
Yeah, I think these are NXT UK guys, and again, that's there's so much wrestling. It's hard to watch every single thing every week. NXT UK though, I know they have like a lot. Like Pete Dunne came from over there, and Pete Dunne's really good too. So
Pete Dunne is a monster, man. I
he's
mean,
great.
No, he's a guy that when you watch him perform, you go, this guy's the real deal. Guys that come from that side of the world, the way they look at it is totally different. The William Regals of the world, those guys take this so seriously as far as their craft go and going out there and being the best at it. Definitely, Pete Dunne's one of those guys.
Well, yeah, man, if Walter or Pete Dunne make it to the main roster, which they will eventually, hopefully they don't get saddled with the same gimmick that Regal got back in the day where he was the real man's man. You remember that?
Yeah.
He's a man.
Yeah, that was the last gimmick, I think. That was the last try.
Such a man.
I like when Regal when they were the Blue Bloods.
Oh, yeah.
That's what Regal. But then I like when Regal was the world television champion. I remember Regal being the world television champion in WCW before I ever got there. And I would be watching it on television and I would watch William Regal work. And I go, wow, this guy's like so good. He's so different. You could tell he was very high on the food chain as far as respect from a wrestling game goes. And William Regal at that time, he probably was 19, 20 years old. He was a kid, and I didn't even realize it. He looked like a grown man in the ring the way he performed.
Were you there? I'm sure that you were that night that there was the William Regal or Steven Regal and Goldberg thing that happened.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't have to go into what happened, why that happened, but what was like? Were you watching it and were you thinking of like, whoa, what's going on here?
No, I wasn't.
You knew what was going on.
Well, I knew exactly what was going on. It was William Regal just wanted to show that, I'm going to, give you what you need, but first I'm going to get what I want. It was one of those nights. Goldberg came into the territory and they were booking him to go out there and pretty much just steamroll everybody that he got in the ring with. And that night he just happened to be booked with Steve Regal. And it was supposed to go that way, but sometimes you feel like you want to, teach someone a lesson, give someone a schooling. And I think that's what happened that night. But at the end of the day, I think Regal did the right thing. I think Goldberg went over. It just didn't go the way it went, normally. Because William Regal was a top flight performer himself. And I think he did the right thing at the end of the day, honestly.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I never knew really what the reasoning was. I just had always heard about the fable.
Sometimes you got to keep yourself over. Sometimes you got to, do something and then come back and say, man, I'm sorry. I apologize. Man, I got caught up in the moment. No, seriously.
Right.
That's the way the business works sometimes. But
so you're not taking liberties with the guy, but you're going out there.
You got to know how to protect yourself sometimes because not that they don't know how to do it. Sometimes in favor of of their agenda, they'll do it how they want to do it. Nah, I'm not going to do that. Or just don't go along with the program exactly the way the program was written. And then you say, man, I didn't understand. I got it wrong. But it's all over. It's all over with now. So no, I'm serious. Sometimes
forgiveness versus permission.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. We have another
super chat
from Algernon the Absurd with the $5. What do you think went on with Cena and Reigns? Now it's Finn and Roman. Well, I think that's still going to be Cena and Reigns. I mean, Cena's back working. He just actually worked a dark match at Raw with Mace. Mace from who trained here as Brennan Williams and the Great Black Otaku. Cena mixed it up with him after Raw on Monday night. I think they're still all trains ahead there in that regard. And I think it's just patience.
But it's awesome, to throw Finn a bone.
Yeah.
Finn steps back in the spotlight here for a second. And there again, you remember what I said about Finn Balor? He's coming back, for me, ranked number 10 but he's got a chance to go out and, work himself back to the number 1, number 2 spot. But he's going to have to do what? He's going to have to go out there and do it on his performance and his performances alone. To have someone like Roman to go out there and work with for someone like Finn Balor is huge. It really is. Because one thing about working with Roman Reigns, it's going to be a showcase. Okay. It's not just going to be your typical match. It's going to be a showcase. He may come out on top of it, but rest assured, it's going to be a showcase and it's going to be good. So this is a time for me to look at Finn Balor and see if there's been growth in Finn Balor since, he went back to NXT and now making his return.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, working with the top dog, you can show off everything that you have under the sun, and you got a good dance partner in there to make you look good if you're lacking anyways. But I think both these guys are top flight performers. Roman, we've talked about incessantly on the show of he's the best in the business right now from doing what he does. Nobody does better than what he does. That doesn't make sense. He does him better than anybody else could. That's
exactly.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I'm still expecting John Cena versus Roman at SummerSlam.
Oh man, that's the big ticket. That's the main event. That's the money draw. So get ready, guys. Get your popcorn ready, like T.O. used to say. It's gonna be good. SummerSlam. And you know what that's going down at? You know what it's going down, right?
Where's that?
It's going down in Las Vegas. Las Vegas, Nevada, same night of that Pacquiao fight with Errol Spence Jr. So, man, it's going to be a great night. It's going to be great. It's going to be good. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. So, the Young Bucks, I had heard about these guys, but I didn't know them or anything like that. And they had a WWE tryout. And these two guys, they were, hanging in the hallways. It seemed like they were, I don't know. They were kind of like off to themselves. I don't know. I don't know. It just felt funny. And I was getting ready to do I was doing commentating back then. And I had my jacket, laid over this, piece of equipment. And I walked by and one of the Young Bucks was leaning on my jacket. And I was like, hey, bro, that's my jacket right there. And he goes, oh, okay, I got my jacket and I walked off, and I was like, I didn't realize it, but they were there for a tryout, and I was like, man, after I realized it, I said something on one of the podcasts or our show or something. These guys didn't even shake my hand, and then next thing you know, it was a big thing going around as far as me not shaking the Young Bucks' hand. And then they started doing a thing online to where, they wouldn't shake anybody's hand, and then, they had a thing with RVD,
right?
Where they wouldn't shake RVD's hand. So I was like, man, you know what I mean? These guys are taking this thing to another level. Can't wait to see them. So I wanted to fight the Young Bucks. I want to get it to them.
You want to put hands on them.
I want to put hands on them.
Put those Fifth Ward beads on them.
Yeah. And we ended up running into each other at an independent show. And I'm still a little bit hot, And, so we end up talking and whatnot. And, we end up getting back around to what happened up in WWE as far as my jacket goes. And they go, bro, reason we didn't say anything to you, man, you're intimidating. Sucker. Shoop. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. See, we got we got another super chat.
We have a couple more, so here's our next
super chat.
Positive vibes only with the $5. I think AEW needs to work on their women's roster more. The Iconics would make a great addition to help their women's tag team division. I actually have heard this criticism a lot of AEW of their women's roster lacks a little depth.
Well, I don't think it's as much focus on the women's division, but I think it was in the beginning. I think when they had what's the little Japanese girl, Io Shirai what was her name?
Hikaru Shida?
Yeah, she was the champion.
Rio.
Yeah, Rio. Yeah, her. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry about the name, but she was pretty exciting to watch when AEW first kicked off the women's division. And it seemed like it was something that was trending in the right direction for a second. Thunder Rosa, of course, what's the Dr. Brooke?
Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Britt Baker. She's I'm gonna tell you, she's a pretty good worker.
Yeah, she's good.
But they definitely lacking storyline from the women. I think more than anything, the women right now seems to go out and wrestle, and that's it. Britt Baker, she seems to have a little bit more of a talking role, and she's good at it at the same time. But I think that's what people are talking about. It's really no continuity. Like, we really know, just say, for instance, who's the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 contenders in the women's division, because it's all over the place. The one girl, man, I don't want to say this the wrong way. The big girl, what's her name?
Nyla Rose.
Nyla Rose. She's a monster. She goes out and destroys the workers, and she should, and it's always been some controversy back and forth as far as. So I don't know, as far as the women's division go in AEW, it just seemed like it's all over the place and not really a foundation. It's no infrastructure as far as the women's division.
Yeah, I think that they could definitely put more focus on it. And the thing is, with launching a second television show in Rampage, maybe that will give them the opportunity on that show. Like, hey, let's play around the women's roster over here. Like, let's try stuff on this show and see if we can get it over and make some sense of this division. I think the Iconics, look, Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, they're just as good as anybody to pick up. I think the Iconics had a great run there.
Yeah, but my thing is, I would not want to bring those two in as a tag team. If I'm trying to
they can come in separate. Yeah.
No. But I see people saying, bring them in as the tag team, the tag team division. I think bringing those two in would be great. Them being former friends in the past. Of course, that's a no-brainer. We've all seen it before, them two on television. But I think those two could add to the roster, and I think that's what AEW is needing to do more than anything is fill the roster out. I think they need, at least 10 girls that they can highlight. And that's something that, just to be honest, that's something that WWE struggles with as far as having 10 girls to highlight at one time. It's definitely something that can be done. It's just about how you're going to do it within the, scheme of things as far as keeping, the guys and everything on an even keel.
Well, speaking of, though, the women, why don't we talk a little bit about what we're hearing right now about the King of the Ring tournament? No, it's going to be the Queen of the Ring tournament. This is something that I've seen floated out there before. I think actually you and I talked about this years ago on this show. Hey, they should do a Queen of the Ring to kind of revitalize that concept a little bit. And it seems as though they're going to start this tournament. It's going to come to a head in Saudi Arabia. What do you think about the Queen of the Ring?
I tell you, just tell you how far we've come to have a Queen of the Ring tournament in Saudi Arabia. After it was forever just to get 2 women in the ring to work.
Remember, 2 years ago, this was an ultimate no-no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No women at all.
To work and to work in that part of the world, from that capacity, women in the ring fighting, it was a no-no. It was something that those people had never seen before in their lives. And now to have a Queen of the Ring tournament, it's huge. And it's definitely where it's going to be huge is you got so many women on the roster in Saudi in the ring at one time.
Awesome.
It's gonna be nuts.
I think it's great, and
it's gonna give women over there that thought in their mind that they can do anything. It's possible, and I think that right there, that beats all as far as I'm concerned.
Man, I remember WWE got a lot of heat when they were going to the Saudi Arabia shows at first, and people were talking about the political aspects of it. I think we talked about on this show, like, hey, those fans have just as much right as anybody to receive the entertainment from WWE or anybody else, right? I would hate to say, like back in the day, say the Beatles didn't agree with the politics of Lyndon Johnson, right? And no, we're not coming to America. You know what I mean? Screw America, right? So I'm glad that the fans are getting that. And now think about this. My point was saying is WWE got a lot of flack for it. And now look at the progress they've helped usher in, at least in this form of entertainment. They went from no women to one women's match to we're going to have a women's tournament, at least, come to a head in Saudi Arabia. That's awesome. And that's real. That's real progress. It's real progress. It's not fake fugazi publicity stunts.
I know people don't want to look at it that way, but it's some good have come out of this for the women of Saudi Arabia. And like I say, for them to be able to see someone like them doing something that they never thought that they would be able to do, or perhaps even see, it definitely got to give them hope. And that right there, I think, is what people are looking for, more than anything, is hope. To move up to the next level, to come up out of poverty, to be able to go to school. So I think, like I say, there again, it's a great thing as far as I'm concerned, and I'm looking forward to the Queen of the Ring tournament. Is Nikki Ash gonna win this thing? That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if Nikki Ash is gonna win this Queen of the Ring. Yeah, I was looking at somebody beating up on me for saying some good things about Nikki Ash too.
I know. What? You can't please anybody.
I said Nikki Ash. I'm all in with Nikki Ash because she's all in. She believes in it. She's going out there. She's doing a hell of a job being in the position that she's in. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I know being in certain positions, you got to just say, man, all right, let's just do it. I remember being G.I. Bro. I remember being in the locker room one time, and Diamond Dallas Page, he walked by me, and I was in the bathroom, and I was putting on my paint, and I got my G.I. Bro jacket on, and he walks up to me, and he goes, bro, what are you doing, man? And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, it's G.I. Bro thing. And I go, man, I'm just having fun. And then he goes, all right, bro. And he walks off, But he didn't realize, for me, and I said, I'm going to take this. I'm going to run with it. I'm going to make it the best I possibly can at this moment in time. And to, like my brother used to tell me, to whatever comes next, this is what I need you to do. And I need you to do it to the best of your ability, to whatever comes next. And I say, man, I can do that. With G.I. Bro, that's what I did. And I'm watching Nikki Ash. She's doing the exact same thing. She's going out there. I mean, it seemed like a total change in her. Putting the mask on.
Cape and cowl on, yeah.
It seems like a totally different person than the character that was coming out there and, just running around like a crazy person.
Well, if I read this right, I think this Nikki Ash or Nikki ASH, however you want to say it, I think this was her idea. This was her idea. This character, she pitched this idea, right? And that's why, again, you can tell she's all in. She's like, look, this was my idea. I hope that I can make this thing work. And so far, look, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I won't say that I'm all in on it. Like, it's not my favorite thing I've ever seen in the world, but it's still new. It's still fresh. She can still develop this character over the next few weeks and perhaps win me and everybody over. I think that her winning the title was great.
Yeah,
I like seeing her in that position.
But her losing the match against Charlotte this past week.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
But I tell you, man, it was fitting. She lost the match. It was a really good match. And then she cut a promo after, which made young people that's watching that show, think for a second. And that right there, that's the silver lining in what Nikki Ash is doing right now. It's more than just a character you see her playing on television that's on screen. It's bigger than that. And when she cut that promo talking about, she lost, but she almost won. And that lets me know, that I could beat you. And at SummerSlam, I am going to beat you. It gave me, I swear, man, I get goosebumps just thinking about the promo because it was so real to the point to where, like I say, you could actually take something away from it opposed to just watching her go out there, put the cape on, the mask, and work. It's totally, it was unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, I mean, we'll see if Nikki gets the job done at SummerSlam. And then who knows? I think Charlotte's the obvious. That she's probably the betting favorite for the Queen of the Ring. I'm sure she's the betting favorite. I don't know if she'll win it, but I'm sure she's odds-on favorite to get it done. So we'll see.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Because of Andre the Giant.
Right.
How was it to work with Andre?
Oh, he was great. I mean, the guy was, the classic gentle giant. I mean, he really was that. I mean, he was the sweetest man, and he was so smart. I mean, really smart guy. He told us stories about when in this town that he was from in France, that he used to go to school, Samuel Beckett would walk him to school. I mean, so these are the kind of influences he had. But he was an amazing guy, and one story, he also could drink pretty good. He was,
yes.
He liked to drink once in a while. And one day he comes to work, and I said, Andre, what'd you do last night? He says, I went to the bar, had a couple of drinks. I said, well, what do you drink? He says, I had about 6 bottles of wine, 3 bottles of cognac. I said, Jesus. I said, you must have been drunk. He said, no, I don't get drunk. A little tipsy, but not drunk. So he was a great guy, though. Really sweet guy.
Sucker!
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Still a few people hating on Nikki. ASH, man. I mean, I don't know what's up. A lot of people a little in between on ASH. But my thing is this, man. Like I say, for someone like her, I said it last time, it can only be one. It can't be a whole lot of people running around with gimmicks on shows today. I just don't believe in that. But it is a place for someone like her on the show. And I saw somebody said the speech was terrible, but I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, I thought it had a message to it at the end of the day. And a lot of times we do this show without having, there again, a silver lining, a message to try to help somebody at the end of the day. And that's just my opinion.
Hey, and you know what? I see this this little comment here from Duke, and I remember this. He said, I was there when Rock did his concert in Sacramento. The Hurricane got the second biggest pop of the evening right next to Stone Cold. I remember when Rock did that, and then Hurricane, I think, went on to beat him that night. And Hurricane was super over at that time. And maybe a Nikki can, do that for the women's side of things. And maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see in Saudi Arabia, Nikki Ash versus Mighty Molly.
We might, man.
Book it.
We might.
We saw Molly Holly in SmackDown. She looks like to be in tremendous shape. She could still go.
Molly hasn't aged a day,
I know. It's crazy.
I'm serious. And she's always looked like a school teacher. I'm serious. She always looks like, 7th grade math teacher or something like that. But she's always been very, very high class. Always been one of those ladies that went out there and did the job, worked at a very, very high level. So, yeah, I love to see that match right there, definitely. Yeah.
Hey, we were talking about Nick Gage and Chris Jericho. They're going to do battle here soon tonight on AEW. I wanted to ask, though, do you recall the first time that you had to use, a gimmick of any kind in a match, the first time you had to get hit? The first time you had to bleed, the first time you had to take a bump through a table. Do you remember any of that?
I didn't have to bleed too many times in my career. It just wasn't my thing. I always said, man, it'd be best for the white guy to bleed, and it looks better. It'd show up a whole lot more, so I'd normally beat the hell out of him. But what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Do you remember the first time you had to get hit with a chair or anything like that?
The match that I think I remember the most. I wasn't off in the hardcore matches. I've never had really a hardcore match, but one.
Two-time hardcore champion, by the way, Booker T.
Well, but like I say, it was in the middle of the square circle, no gimmicks. But I remember having a match with the Nasty Boys. It was a street fight, and we could do everything that we wanted. We could use whatever we wanted, and it was the worst match in my wrestling career. I don't think I've ever watched it. Maybe once I've watched pieces of it. But we fought into this concession stand that we had that made up. It had hot dogs and, some of those big containers of mustard and big containers of ketchup. And it was just like, okay, let's do this. So we fought off into it, and it was like a food fight going on. And I remember Knobs picked up one of those big containers of ketchup, and he swung it, and he hit me like on the back of the neck with it. And I swear it hurt so bad. I thought, this is not something I want to be a part of. This is not my deal. We got out of that match. We were slipping all over the place because of the ketchup and mustard on the floor and whatnot. I remember I had a red outfit on that night, and it was ruined. I had to throw it out that night. And I never wanted to have a street fight or that kind of match ever again. That's why I always pretty much lobbied when it came to having those type of matches. And you know what, man? I don't know if I could do that. Jumping off of that, I'm not feeling that. So they will find someone to actually have those type of matches. But for me, Knobs, Sags, Booker T and Stevie Ray, that was the last time I think I really had a fight like that.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, when did you ever see Hogan jump off a ladder? You know what I mean?
No, but those matches are there again, like I just said again. It's a place for those type of guys on the card. It is a place for that one match on the card that night.
Right.
But I just don't think everybody can do those type of matches. It just wasn't in my, forte. It wasn't my repertoire to go out and, I didn't want to get hurt. Okay. That's the one thing I did not want to do. Excuse me. Let's say that again. I did not want to get injured. All right. I knew I was going to get hurt. That just comes along with the territory. But I did not want to get injured doing this. And so many guys I've seen go out there and do something, and they're out for 6 months, and they got to go through that rehab. They got to go get the MRI. And that right there alone for me, getting the MRI, you might as well leave me out for a year. You put
those
me
MRI machines suck, huh?
Man, I feel like I'm gonna die every time I'm in there, and I hear that ringing in my ear. You don't say nothing. Be still. How can I be still in this machine? I remember one time I was in the MRI machine, and I got literally like halfway through it, and I just couldn't take it no more. And she was like, "You only got like 15 more minutes," and I was like, 15 minutes? I'm gonna die in 15 minutes. So it started going in my ear, and I just couldn't take it. I go, I can't take it anymore. And they go, we're almost there. I say, let me out. I'm gonna break something. They ran their asses in there so quick.
No. Don't do it to the machine. No.
They got me out of that machine so quick, bro. The next time I came, they gave me Valium.
Take one of these. You'll feel much better.
But I swear, man, getting injured means going into the MRI machine. And it's no fun being one of those guys. Rey Mysterio, I think, has had 16 surgeries.
A lot of knee ops, right?
Yeah. So, not just knee, but, shoulder, probably elbow, and just think about it. That's time off every time. And then the rehab is just as hard as being off. It's a monster. So, man, I hated those kind of matches.
Yeah, I remember, this is such a vivid memory for me. I was in elementary school. It was right when I became a fan. And before you walked in the cafeteria, they had the stacks of this folding chairs. So if there was like an assembly or something, they take the stacks of the folding chairs off, and nobody was looking, right? The teachers were preoccupied with lunch or what have you. So I wanted to pick one up to see what it was like, and I was 7, 8. I tried to pick that chair up. That was the heaviest damn thing that I've ever picked up in my life. And I'm like, people swing this as a weapon? How the hell do they do that? I was like, that seems like it would suck.
No, man, I always like watching those matches from afar. I'm serious. I mean, just not my thing, man. Just never have been, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, So we'll see at Jericho's 50, isn't he?
I think he's 50.
50 something.
Yeah.
Going in there and doing a match that I don't think he's really ever done. We saw him and Moxley tear it up before in WWE with the thumbtacks and I can't remember. It wasn't a Chamber of Horrors. What did they call it? Something like that.
Yeah. I think that might have been it. Yeah.
Was it the Chamber of Horrors? I thought that was the one where they electrocuted Abdullah the Butcher.
I didn't see that match.
You don't remember that?
I didn't see that match right there.
Or Cactus Jack electrocuted Abdullah?
No,
at Halloween Havoc?
I wasn't off in the, those times. It did again. That was what, WWF, right?
That was WCW.
I didn't see that.
You don't remember this one? I think it was, and Sting blew his knee out, I think, in that match. There was a lot of stuff going on. So I don't know. We'll see what Jericho does. By the way, this just coming in actually broke a little bit before, but I do think since we are such a Texas proud show and a Houston proud show, rest in peace to the legend, Dusty Hill of ZZ Top, the bass player. Passed away at 72 years old here in Houston this morning. Passed away in his sleep. ZZ Top, one of the great rock bands of all time. Southern rock bands, probably number one. Girls Go Crazy for a Sharp Dressed Man.
With Billy Gibbons, and those guys always came down and support shows. Always there at WCW back in the day. Definitely one true legend here in the city will definitely be missed. So.
Yeah, I mean, I saw them play the rodeo, which was awesome. And then one time, I have no idea why. My uncle, I was with my uncle, and he was like, "Hey, I gotta go to this house to buy something." That's a different story. But the thing is, the house next door to this house was Dusty Hill's mansion. Right. And I don't remember exactly what part of town we were in. It was a long time ago, but he had this beautiful mansion with, big gates saying DH. And I was like, wow, that's like a real rock star's mansion back when rock stars made money and lived large. Big time. And,
I'm going to tell you, man, they always say the rock star life, bro. You wish you could live that lifestyle. I mean, then again, all the rockers, man, they ride hard. They burn the candle at both ends, man. I don't know if me personally would run that hard. Seriously. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I take the money. And if I wasn't married, I'd take the other part too. That's another story. I don't want Short Man to be here. None of that, man. But we gotta get ready to get up out of here, man. I got a whole lot of business still later on this evening. But guys, we'll be back same place, same time on Monday. But make sure you check out my new show, The Indies, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time. Special guest Will Ospreay. You don't want to miss out. Like I say, very, very cool dude, down to earth, and he is an international superstar. I think Hall of Fame worthy work one day, Will Ospreay. So definitely, guys, check out the show tomorrow night. Same place, same time. But right now, we out.
Can you dig it?